The other morning, I was in the kitchen and I asked one of her daughters to come help out. She wandered over slowly, dragged her feet a little bit, and almost whimpered. And in a moment like this, I'm reminded why we made it a priority to teach our children that in our family, we do everything with excellence. So today, I'm sharing 10 things that we don't allow our kids to do and how every single expectation, it's a small part of the bigger legacy that we are leaving for them. Because the best legacy is the one that we leave within them, not the ones we leave for them. So if you're striving to raise capable, resilient, and grateful kids, then this is for you. And if you find that you're doing some of the things that I'm about to mention, please know that I'm not here to judge. I'm just sharing our journey and my mission to empower women to build a Christ-centered home. And so first up, we do not allow our kids to be lazy. And it's important to know that we never call them lazy or any other names. For Micah and I, avoiding laziness, it's not about pushing our children to work all the time. It's about teaching them the value of contributing in the family unit, being responsible for their part in the home, and learning self-discipline. Yes, our kids are only 7, 5, 3.5, and 1.5. But I had wished I had learned what it meant to work hard and to contribute in my parents' household. Our girls each have a household task and they rotate every week. And I used to have a cube chart for that and it became too complicated. So now they can swish and figure it out between them each week. Every day, one daughter sorts and puts laundry on each person's bed. Another one empties the dishwasher. Another one sets the table at every meal. And a 1.5-year-old currently vacuums. No, it's not perfect. But it shows her the value of contributing in the family, and she loves it. She wants to vacuum. And they're also expected to clean their playroom once a day before dinner. Their room only has their bed and closet, and so they only need to put their clothes away. And they're also expected to put things back where they belong. We believe that that's one of the ways that God wants us to train up our children the way they should go. And it's not perfect. It's about effort and a willingness to contribute. It builds the foundation for self-discipline that will serve them throughout the rest of their lives. And I totally used to live out of my laundry basket. I'd wash and dry my clothes and pile them up in the laundry basket, and then they'll just stay there for weeks. And it became a go-to system, digging through that basket every day to find clothes instead of just putting everything away and clearing up that little corner of chaos. And here's what I eventually realized, that clutter basket wasn't just visual clutter. It was a mental clutter too. And every time I saw it sitting there, I'd feel this nagging sense in my head, and I should take care of this, or I really need to get organized, what I like to call the silent to-do list. By ignoring it, I was letting a piece of this organization stick around and take mind space. And putting laundry away felt like such a small action, but it felt so freeing. it's it's one of those little things that add up to a home that feels so peaceful and managed. And that's what we want girls to learn early on. Not when they get married and figuring their life out. Teaching responsibility early to build great habits. The next thing we don't let our kids do is sleep with us. I'm not talking about as a newborn here. You do what you need to do to get some sleep in the first 3 months. I'm talking about past 12 months. For Micah and I, our bedroom, it's our space. Just for us. It's where we connect, pray together, and make time to be husband and wife. Keeping that space reserved for us, it's actually a huge way that we prioritize our marriage. It reminds us that even when we're parents to little ones who need us constantly, our marriage, after Christ, is the foundation of our family. And it shows the children that we prioritize our marriage. By making sure our girls sleep in their own beds, we're really just protecting that closeness and connection that Micah and I have. And I honestly think it helps us be better parents too. Because when we're strong as a couple, we can be fully present for them. And yes, of course, it also allows them to have a sense of security and independence when they learn to sleep on their own beds. And they also have a better and deeper sleep. And we do too, and all the great benefits to that. But the main reason that we don't let our children sleep with us is because Micah and I are protecting our marriage and nurturing it first and foremost. And there are times where they have bad dreams and they'll come wake us up. Micah walks them back to their bed, pray with them, and then they go back to sleep. And there are times where they get sick and they will sleep in their bed. And if they keep on running to the back room, or if we need to monitor them a little closely, then yes, they'll get to sleep with us. But that's an exception. They get sick maybe once a year, if that. And so our girls have learned to suit themselves and to sleep on their own beds when they were anywhere between 6 weeks old and 6 months old, depending on which daughter. And so sleeping with us is a no-go. The next thing we don't allow our kids to do is screaming. Inside the house, outside the house, wherever. Here's the thing. Children are naturally loud. They're full of energy, and sometimes that energy comes out in forms of shrieks, yells, full-on screaming, and I get it. I'm not saying that our kids never, ever do that. But for us, showing them to play with a talking voice, it's not about withholding that energy. It's about helping them understand the boundaries and respect for other people. And we want them to develop a sense of respect for shared spaces, whether it's in a home or backyard or the playground. Screaming at the top of their lungs might feel fun in the moment, but it's not about them. It's about everybody else around them. even when we're outside. We want them to learn the respect for others doesn't stop at the front door. So we want them to learn that their actions affect other people and that they can still have fun while still being considerate. It's also part of helping them learn self-control. By setting that expectation, we help them learn manage those big bursts of energy in ways that don't disrupt everything and everybody around them. So they can express excitement, laughter, and enthusiasm without turning up the volume so high. And honestly, it allows for a much calmer environment for everybody. And our kids are absolutely not perfect at this. They are like every other kid, learning new skills, but allowing them to learn this kind of respectful play, it's one of those things that adds peace to our home. The next one is talking back. I know. A lot of these things are very common amongst children, but not because it's common that it's okay. So we want them to learn respect for authority and that there's a structure in the family. And part of what that means is recognizing mama and daddy are here to guide, protect, and make decisions that we believe are best for them. They're welcome to ask questions, but obedience is expected first. The first time we ask, not after repeated 3 million times, the first time. Talking back is also not about just words. It's often about an attitude of defiance or unwillingness to listen and obey. We want to raise children who know how to express themselves respectfully, even when they disagree. And they can tell us how they feel and share their thoughts in a respectful way. We all encounter life situations where we don't like what we're being told. I'm the first one to understand that. Learning to respond respectfully, even when we're upset or frustrated, builds character and self control. It helps us develop emotional maturity and shows us how to communicate strong feelings in a constructive way. And if you're wondering, yes, that is a skill that I would have loved to learn. And I tend to be on a talking back side, mostly when I was in the corporate world. And you know how it is corporate environment with tons of red tape and a typical A personality, not always the best mix. When we know that disrespect won't get us anywhere, we're more likely to stay calm and communicate respectfully what's on our mind. God calls us to honor our parents, and I'm the first one to say that I still need to work on a lot on that. And this is one of the reasons why we see a lot of value in teaching them that there's structure in their authority. The family unit is not up for debate. It's not a democracy. Even if they don't vote me back into a parent, I'm still a parent. That means that when we give directions or make decisions, as long as it doesn't go against God's word, we expect respectful responses. And like I said, it's not that they can't have feelings or opinions, but talking back or being defiant doesn't fly here. Next up, it's sleepovers. We don't do them here. First off, it comes down to protecting our family culture. At home, we're intentional about the environment we create for our kids, the values, the routines, the sense of security that we want for them to have. And sleepovers, even with close friends and extended family, can introduce a lot of outside influences that we can't always control. And kids are naturally influenceable. And they're more likely to pick up on behaviors, attitude, or language when they are in a different environment, even if it's just for one night. I mean, girls go to Sunday school and for like an hour, and they come back with attitude and facial expressions and just stuff that we don't do, teach, or tolerate. And so I can't imagine for a sleepover. And honestly, we don't know what's happening in other people's home. Even friends that we know well or family that we love, there's always so much unknown. We don't know what other adults are going to be there. We don't know what other kids are going to be there, who stops by, how much kids are being monitored, what they're watching, what they're doing, whatever. And sometimes it's not even the parents' fault. Sometimes the parents are absolutely awesome, but someone else they know stops by and they're a family member and they're a friend, whoever. There's stuff that happened to me when I was a child, allowed to do sleepovers that I would never want a girl to experience. Maybe we're old school, maybe we're extreme, but I sleep very well at night knowing that I did everything I could in my power to protect our children. We like to do play dates or lunches or dinners. We love having people over. We know the environment that we offer, and that's awesome. I know that sleepovers may be seen as a childhood rite of passage, but for us, we're prioritizing your family values, safety, and peace. Touching our phone is a no-go in our home. First, we don't believe that kids need to be on their phones. Phones come with a lot of distractions and they're not designed with kids in mind. And we know that screen time, especially on a device like a smartphone, can impact their development and how they process information and even their attention span. And so keeping our phones off limits, we're able to protect their focus and imagination, and they're more likely to stay present in a moment. And we want them to learn to entertain themselves without screens. Kids have amazing imagination, and when they're not on devices, they're more likely to engage in creative play, spend time outdoors, or connect with each other. We want them to learn those skills. And we want them to develop those skills early and not to rely on screens to fill their time and provide entertainment. And I'm personally doing a 30-day challenge with my phone because of how much distraction there is on my phone. And so at the end of the day, our phone is not a toy. It's our personal tool, not theirs. Of course, we taught them what to do in a case of emergency, but phones are off limit. And one that we don't allow in our home is complaining or having a constant attitude of dissatisfaction or negativity. And I used to complain constantly. And it was almost a badge of honor. Like, I love being sarcastic and complaining, and I pride myself in that just to show how crazy that was. There is a difference between complaining and communicating a frustration or disappointment. When we complain, it usually comes from a place of entitlement or a lack of gratitude, and it often focus on what we don't have or what's not going exactly our way, instead of seeing the blessings that we do have. By guiding our kids away from complaining, they get to learn an attitude of gratitude. And it's not perfect. I myself still complain from time to time, but we want them to learn to look for the good in every situation. Because when I'm genuinely grateful, in my heart, I can't find something to complain about. Complaining can quickly become a habit. And once it starts, it's a way of like spreading and affecting everybody's attitude. So we set pretty clear expectations around it. And we don't want that in our home because we want it to be a place of gratitude, not negativity. And so we're also mindful of this because we want them to build resilience and problem solving skills. Because let's face it, complaining doesn't resolve anything. It just magnifies whatever we're unhappy about. So instead of just voicing what's wrong, we encourage our girls to think about solutions or find ways to cope. I'm not saying that there's no room for them to share if they're generally struggling or feeling not the greatest. That's something from complaining. We don't invalidate their feelings, we guide them to communicate those feelings in a constructive way. So for us, not allowing complaining, it's about raising kids who are grateful in an entitled world, who are resilient in a soft society, and who are mindful of those around us in a selfish culture. Another thing that we don't let our girls do is paint their nails. And I know it may seem small or even a little bit strict, which is fine because we're strict. Imagine we want to teach our girls that beauty is much more than what's on the outside. I started wearing makeup and painting my nails at 12, and I never stopped. When I was younger, I thought I couldn't get out of the house without having makeup on. And it's only up until 2 years ago that I started being comfortable with not wearing makeup or painting my nails outside of the home. And I don't even wear that much makeup. I wear only mascara. Our culture can be pretty heavy on physical appearance with the idea that looking fancier somehow makes you prettier. And I would have liked to wait a little bit before putting makeup on or painting my nails. And we want our children to understand that true beauty is in their kindness, gentleness, and self control. What's on the outside, not whether or not their nails are painted. And we encourage them to find joy in whose they are rather than what they look like. They can do whatever they want in their late teens or adulthood, but for now, nail polish is reserved only for grown-ups in their family. At the end of the day, I'm not saying that nail polish is bad. It's a small decision we've made to reflect that desire of ours, to nurture inner beauty, protect their innocence, and to keep their life as simple as possible. We want them to grow up with a strong sense of self-worth that is not tied to outward appearance. And for us, not painting nails is one little way that we encourage that mindset. Next up is no whining for things in store. It all started because everywhere we went, they would go, "Can we buy this? Can we buy that? Can we have that?" And we were like, where is this coming from? It can be anything from an avocado to a book and to a goodie, whatever. Not allowing whining things at store teaches respect for our family values and choices. It shows the children that we are intentional in how we invest our money and that we don't buy things out of impulse. And when we're shopping, we're there with a list and a purpose. And that's part of our family approach to budgeting and stewardship. And by setting that expectation early, they're learning to understand our values about finances and materialism. And it also allows them to learn patience and delayed gratification, something that a lot of us need to learn. And I would have liked to be taught all of that we don't need to buy everything we want just because we can afford it or to feel entitled and we have a right to it right now. So let's put it on a credit card. I would have loved to be taught to be wise with my money and to learn delayed gratification, that we save up for what we want and not just put that on a credit card and have it right away when we don't have the finances for it. And that's how I got into $45,000 of debt. And so learning delayed gratification allows them to learn the value of money and material and that we're not entitled to buy whatever we want just because we have it in store or that we can afford it. Learning to wait for things or work towards a goal is a valuable life lessons. And in our opinion, it builds character. When it comes to screen time, we take a pretty conservative approach. We don't let our children spend a lot of time in front of screens. First, we don't have a TV. So Mike and I have never owned a TV. Second, there is so much to experience outside of screens. And it's so important to protect our children's early years from the influence of constant media and technology. Mike and I are not big on movies, but we would watch movies on a few different date nights in the beginning of our marriage. And we just wanted to do something brainless that didn't require us to think. Does that not raise a flag, though, that we wanted to do something brainless so we would watch a movie? I don't know about you, but every time I would watch a movie or a TV show, even the best TV shows out there like Friends, every time I would feel like soft after, like, blah. Like, and not wanting to do anything. We're not anti-screen or anything, but we're really big on encouraging real-world play and learning. And screen can be engaging, but they don't replace hands-on activities like building, crafting, exploring outdoors, or playing pretend or whatever. These activities allow our kids to use their imagination, strengthen their problem solving skills, and build their motor skills. If you love screen and find value in it, awesome. I'm not saying that's wrong. All I'm saying is we highly limit our screen time. I don't even remember when was the last time I felt the need to turn screens on for the girls or when there was the last time they asked. And it's amazing. If you want to learn how we are intentional in the things we don't buy for our kids, check the video in the description.